I do have the pleasure of announcing the winners tonight. There is only one ultimate winner, but I think those that have come second and third should feel very pleased with their performance too. I should start by saying that the last position of the 20 was Andy Gorham with 1% of the vote, and as a dedicated Celtic supporter, I can't help but be partially amused, but I'm sure it's a very good book, so commiserations to Andy. But more importantly, in third place with 11% of the vote was Flora MacDonald for Cocoa and Crabs. In second place, congratulations go to Ian Rankin with 12% of the vote for The Complaints. And in winning position, I'm absolutely delighted that it's someone whose sister I met very recently, who it turns out that I didn't realise until I met her that the winner actually went to the same school as me back in Glasgow, the Eton of the North, Holyrood Secondary School in Glasgow. And tonight his father Hugh is here, and it is Frankie Boyle. The title of the book is an expression I never thought I would use in front of such a literary audience, my shit life so far. But I would like to just congratulate Frankie and his dad. So I'd just like to end by saying that we have been absolutely delighted to support this initiative, and hopefully there's many more years when we can do this and do more. So thank you, and I'd like to pass you now to Nick.
Thanks very much. Now, Ian, when the book festival kicked off, you arrived in this kind of haze of bliss and relaxed mood, just come back from holiday. So what were you reading when you were off on your cruise?
I was reading stuff I didn't want to read. I had foolishly signed up to do three things. One was to be a judge of the Times W.H. Smith Paperback of the Year Awards, which necessitated reading 14 very big fat paperbacks. I blame the computer for this, the size that books have got. And on top of that, I'd also agreed to do late review for BBC Two, which involved a discussion of the Booker long list. So we had to read 4 or 5 books from that. And on top of that, I was also doing Saturday review for Radio 4, and there was another book on that. I had a lot of books that I wouldn't have chosen to take on holiday with me, that I felt I had to pile through. And some of them were incredibly pleasant surprises. The Help, which a lot of you will probably know about, I was determined not to like that book. It's a book about mostly black female experience in the southern states of the USA in the early to mid-60s. It's about the maids who run the houses. But there's also a young white woman, Gauche, who wants to be a journalist and tries to get them to tell their stories so she can turn it into a book to sell it to a publisher in New York. I thought, and I looked at the picture, I made a fatal mistake. I looked at the picture of the author on the back of the book and thought, here's a WASP, a white Anglo-Saxon Protestant woman, obviously good bone structure, has grown up in a wealthy family in America, and she's going to tell me about black experience. No, there are other writers who go to for black experience in America, and they tend to be Toni Morrison. So I read the book with great prejudice, but she won me over. She hooked me in. The story was fantastic. The characters were three-dimensional. And it's one of those great books that at the end you think, shit, I wish that I wasn't finished because I need to know what happens to these people now. And that doesn't happen to me very often these days. So that was terrific.
So that was one of the standouts of all the books that you read?
Well, it was the one that surprised me. There were ones I was expecting to enjoy and did enjoy, but that one I wasn't expecting to enjoy and did enjoy. There were books that I expected to enjoy and didn't enjoy, like Wolf Hall, but let's not go there. The other one I really liked was the one that actually kicks off in Edinburgh. It kicks off with 2 students in Edinburgh, and that's One Day by David Nicholls.
David Nicholls, yeah.
And no novelist alive starts reading that book and doesn't think, I wish I'd thought of that first. He basically takes the lives of these 2 characters. They have a one-night stand on their last night in Edinburgh as students, and then he takes the same day each year after that and charts the progress as they don't see each other for a while. He's abroad. She's trying to get a career in London. They meet again. He's not very pleasant. So it goes. They become boyfriend and girlfriend. They fall out. They come back together again. And it really gripped me from the get-go. The guy, he wrote Starter for 10, which is the book about University Challenge that was filmed. This one, I think, is definitely going to make it into a film as well. But just this notion of taking one day each year was very, very clever, and it worked.
So in effect, they chart the 20-year lifespan of a relationship from
Basically in 20 chapters, I
in
guess.
20 chapters over a period of 20 years.
Yeah. Really clever idea, but I mean, it's one thing to have a clever idea like that, a clever structural idea. It's another one to actually make you care about the characters. And there is a shocking twist 2/3 of the way through the book that just floored me. I know, I'm not going to say what it is, but it floored me, you know. So those were pleasant surprises.
Yeah.
One was pleasant because one day had been heavily hyped, and I thought, I'm not going to enjoy this, it's been hyped. I don't like hyped books. Another one, I just thought, I'm prejudiced against the kind of person who's telling me this story, and both of them won me over. Normally on my summer holidays, my wife will tell you, I usually reread Jilly Cooper's Rivals. That is normally what I do on my summer holidays.
My wife does exactly the same.
Yeah. It's got to be Rivals, it can't be Riders or Polo or anything else, it's got to be Rivals, the one about the TV station, with Rupert Campbell-Black, and just absolutely brilliant. And having read it under duress, because it was the only book in our house in France when we lived in France that I hadn't read, and we were snowed in, and I thought, it's got to be this, it's the only book I've not read. It won me over straight away, and so for sheer escapism now, most summers I'll actually pick up Rivals. I'll say I'm not going to do it this year, and then I'll go and do it anyway.